Hi, welcome aboard this flight to Dublin from Luton Airport, Ryanair. I've just requested the pushback, so
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
This is a 737-800, the built-in stock one from X-Plane, and we're going to be pushing out and heading toward runway 08. Flight time normally about an hour and 20 minutes, but this has been edited down, so we're going to follow it to the top of descent, top of climb, and once we get across the Bristol Channel, we'll skip until we get to the top of descent. Let's see how we get on. We're going to be waiting for the tow truck has just arrived, and we'll wait for the pushback.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Yeah, this can take a little while. We'll just make sure everything's
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
The computer's programmed to take us
Starting pushback.
in a left-hand turn back on ourselves and to head out toward Reading and then out across towards South Wales over the Bristol Channel. As I said, we should be able to see the 7th crossing, and out over the south of Wales, out over the Irish Sea into an approach to Dublin. Okay, pushback is now complete. We'll wait for the tow to release, and we'll taxi down to runway.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
You'll hear the commands from the tow truck, and you have to bear with me as well, because this is my first time actually using this video editing, and so I'm learning, as well as learning to fly these planes and using X-Plane, I'm also learning how to use the video editing. For anyone interested in the video editing, is Adobe Premiere Pro, and I use the NVIDIA experience to actually record the plane flight from X-Plane itself. Anyway, we wait for the signal now. The tow truck will be moving.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Taxi off. There it goes. We'll wait, the driver will get out and signal that it's clear for us to proceed, so we'll just wait for him to get out. There he goes, clear to go. We'll release the brakes and once he gets back in, we'll move forward. There we go. And we'll now move forward, taxi down to runway 8. We're now just going to be setting a throttle to be sort of 35%. It should give us enough movement forward. There's the external view as well, so we're going to have that external view as we go down to the runway, so you can see Luton Airport in all its glory in the background. It'll take a couple of minutes to get down to runway 8, where we'll do our final checks before we take off. I have to say this was fun trying to get the picture-in-picture synchronised up, because they are totally separate video recordings. It's not too bad, I suppose. I had to time slip it a little bit, but I think it's pretty much in sync. Anyway, we're now on the adjoining taxiway. You can see the runway ahead of us, but we need to go down to the end to give us a bit of space to take off. Got one of Luton's main car parks on the right hand side. We're nearly down to the end of the runway. We'll turn left and then turn around to line up on the actual runway itself. It'll be a short delay then while I actually arm the flaps, set the flight management system to do the auto throttle and the flight director, which will actually do the actual controls most of the time, while we do our ascent to 18,000 feet. So we'll just approach onto the runway, go to the right and wheel round.
Approaching 08. On runway 26, 400 feet remaining. Flaps, flaps. On runway 08, flaps, flaps.
Okay, we're lined up on the centre line. As you can see, the in picture is just a little bit out. So I'm now just going to set the flaps. We're going up to flaps 5%, section or click 5. It's got one more to go. There we go. So flaps are 5, 18,000 set. Flight management and auto throttle selected. Let's get cracking. We're about to take off. There we go. Up in the air. Let's raise the gears.
On runway 08, on runway 08.
And the computer is now flying the aircraft. I can just sit back and monitor it. I can lose the picture there that we've got up in the air. Fade that out in a second. See in the background, built in the picture. And now we do a series of turns on our climb out of Luton. It's standard aircraft or flight rules of departure. And we'll be climbing to 18,000 and heading down south. Lose the inbuilt picture now for a while until we land. And as you can see, we're steadily climbing, currently at 8,700, climbing up to our target speed, our target altitude of 18,000. We've got a rate, our top of descent is going to be in 197 nautical miles, so we've got quite a way to go. Dublin Airport itself is 325 nautical miles. It will be taking quite a bit, but I've cut this video down to about 43 minutes, 44 minutes around that time. So we're just going to follow this. We'll get to the Bristol channel and then we'll let it carry on until our top of descent. As you can see, the wonderful scenery that we've got installed in this application, very lifelike, so there's quite a few points of interest. So if you do like this video and you would like me to do a particular flight, or while I'm learning, or fly around some famous UK landmarks or anything like that, just leave a comment below and I'll see what I can do. my next flight, I know someone sent me a challenge to fly to their home country of Lithuania, so that I'm going to be doing later on as the next flight. But say if there's anywhere you particularly would like me to see, then I can pop into a small plane and fly over some landmarks, or I can get into one of these 737s and go a bit further. Just let me know, comment below. Looking at the timeline on this, I think we've got about 10 minutes before we actually get to the Bristol Channel, so sit back and enjoy the scenery. Get back to you soon. As you can see from the computer on the left, in the bottom left hand corner, we're still following the various waypoints up and still climbing at the moment. So it can be quite complex, the actual routes out of airports and likewise into airports as you line up on, to get onto the Clyde slope as we all know. And that's again something that I'm having to learn. It's quite a large learning curve. I used to do flight sim many years ago on Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it was never anything like this. And I'm still learning, and there's still a few add-ons and things that I really need to get into to make it even more realistic. I do cheat a little bit at the moment where I start with all the engines and systems turned on, and at some stage I do need to start learning how to go through the checklists to start, as they say, start the aircraft from dark and cold. That's something that I will be progressing to. At the moment, I just need to get used to flying, using the autopilot, programming the autopilot, even more so, landing it. You'll find that the landing today in Dublin is not the most ideal. The cabin crew would certainly be saying, please check your overhead luggage, just something's may have moved. It was just a little bit bouncy, but it was down safely and we got to the airport. But yes, we're still climbing, slowly but surely. Still got a way to go before we hit our top of climb. Probably about another 7 minutes before we get to the Bristol Channel. Start cutting it until we get out over to the Irish Sea. So we're at our cruising altitude at the moment. We've gone over Swindon and we should be able to see the Severn Bridge shortly. If you have a look ahead, we can just about see the Severn estuary, just on the end of the nose of the aircraft, and the Severn Bridge will be over to it. You can just see the Severn Bridge above the tail there, or it was. It's directly above the head of the plane at the moment. You can just see it crossing the Severn estuary at the moment. So once we get over, we'll start crossing the Brecon Beacons, and we'll then fast forward to getting close to the top of our descent before we start heading down towards Dublin Airport. So you can see Bristol below us, just behind us, the tail fin, and just over the water there we head into Wales. Crossing over the Severn estuary now, and what we're going to do is going to prepare now to go and fast forward or cut to the top of our descent and start heading down across the Irish Sea to get to Dublin Airport and Ireland. So, I am going to see you on the other side. Okay, so we've crossed over to the Welsh coast now, or the end of the Welsh coast, and we're about to hit the top of our descent, and we're now heading out over the Irish Sea towards Ireland and our landing at Dublin. We should be landing, or well, we might just wait until we get a bit closer as well and skip a little bit more. I think that's what I've set in the timeline. So we're going to start descending in a while, and head out over the sea. Don't want to really bore you too much with just sea. There's absolutely nothing to see when you're just over water. So we'll skip forward again in a couple of minutes. There we get the end of the Welsh coast, and there we go. We just hit the top of the descent, and the nose is going down as we start our descent down for our approach to Dublin. As you can see, we're initially going down to 15,000. We're descending at 2,500 feet a minute. And it's during the descent phase that, even though it's on autopilot, you do have to do quite a few things and checks. I've set the ILS radio so that I can start hearing the beeps, and that was the button I've just pressed there was obviously just to sort of activate the beep so that I get an audible Morse code when I'm actually on picking up the ILS beacon, which allows me to hit the glide slope and allegedly go, you know, land reasonably well at the airport. So we've started the descent, and what I'm going to do is we'll cut in a minute to when we get a little bit closer to the actual landing. Say nothing more boring than just looking at blue water. So we've reset the level that we need to go down to 9,000 feet, and we monitor that as we come down. And we can tell by the flight computer on the left hand side whether we've got to be above and what levels we've got to hit and when. So we're about to cut now to a bit closer to Dublin. We'll see you in a couple of minutes along the flight anyway. Okay, here we go. So we've now starting to do our final approaches. As you can see, we've set a target of 2,500 feet to drop to, and we'll be heading on to the final approach soon. We're going to be turning right in a minute towards the airfield, and we're only about 3 minutes, 4 minutes out from actual touchdown, so we're not too far away now. Here we go, is the right turn towards the runway. When the diamonds line up on the vertical and horizontal axis, we can then engage the ILS approach. And when we get to below 500 feet, I will disengage the autopilot, and that's when you have to land it manually. So this is the standard approach. Again, it's a set of waypoints and beacons that the computer follows until we pick up the glide slope for the ILS, and then I take it off that type of navigation and put it onto the approach. And I can see that is going to happen any second now. There we go. I've just put it onto approach. So now we're following the last few feet, the last few thousand feet now towards the landing. Touchdown is going to be in less than 2 minutes. see the runway just ahead of us. And we're on a nice steady slope down. The landing gear has just gone down. I've just put the landing gear down and I'm putting the flaps out to reduce the speed. Right, 3 green lights on the landing gear. Flaps are out. Computer calls out when it gets down to 1,000 feet, and that's when I shall be getting ready to disengage any autopilot and manually land this aircraft. As I said earlier, a little bit bumpy, not mastered it 100% yet, but I'm going to get there.
1,000.
So, any minute now I shall disengage the...
Approaching 28.
Ready to disengage the... You'll hear a warning as the autopilot comes off as I disengage everything. There we go.
500.
Put the picture in picture so you can see the landing itself from an external view.
400.
There we go, disengage the autopilot. We are now manually flying this baby. Everything looks good at the moment.
200.
But then I notice I'm not quite on the centre line, and there we go.
100.
I'll get this down, it's a little bit bumpy.
50.
Try and get it back on the centre line. Here she
30.
comes.
Long landing. Long landing. 6,000 feet remaining.
Down. Bit of a bump. Put speed brakes out. Toe brakes on. And come off the and then we head towards the apron now, you know, to the terminal. Okay, start bringing the flaps up, speed brake off, the taxi lights are on, and it's just a nice gentle flight now. Oh, we can turn that beeps off as well. I actually want the beeps on. Go. So I hope you've enjoyed yet another flight in my experience and learning curve on using X-Plane. As I said, if there's anywhere you want me to go, leave a comment down below. So we don't need the flight manual or the computer anymore. But if you've enjoyed this flight, then you can always hit that like button, and if you want, you can subscribe and follow my journey, and to get notifications you can hit that bell. Leave you now to enjoy this final few moments as we head to the terminal. Quite a long taxi coming in on that particular runway. We have to basically go back on ourselves all the way to one of the main terminals, and I'm not too sure whether I've parked it at the correct one. This is an attempt to have a look at the map, but it's not actually showing me where I am at the moment, so thought that would have given me an overview of the map of the runway of the airport, but it hasn't done it. So I've obviously got the setting wrong there. So we're just coming up to cross one of the other main runways. It is one that we could have chose, you know, to land on, but it is a bit shorter. So I wanted to work
approaching
on the
3,
longer one
4.
I'm still learning, because I probably had to get the landing spot on to do that. Okay, so we can see the terminals ahead of us and the parking areas. So I shall go and park it at one of the terminal gates and start shutting everything down and get ready for my next flight to Lithuania. That should be fun. So let's find an empty spot. Probably the wrong spot because of this private jet, but yeah, let's get to the end and I will learn, and at some stage I'm going to start learning how to use air traffic control of the ATC, so it will actually guide me to exactly the right place that I've got to park it. But for now we're here. We're safe. It's the main thing. So again, hope you've enjoyed this flight. I know it's a bit long, and as I get used to the video editing I'll probably start getting used to cutting it down and making it a bit more, what's the word, compact, so you don't get too much of the boring stuff. So, shut everything down and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.